Hello and welcome back, Starlings, or should I say, Stool Starlings, because this video is Sims related and that's how they say hello. Today, I wanted to try something I came up with out of sheer lack of motivation to do anything. Yes, as much as I love drawing, I've seemed to be a little more fixated on playing the video games or reading or doing anything but the work I should be doing. But in times of useless potatoism comes innovation of some sort. I'm recreating two of my original characters in The Sims and then drawing them. That's it. That's what I'm doing. I originally kind of wanted to do this in The Sims 3, but it does not run well on my computer, so we're using The Sims 4. It's kind of interesting. It's like a game of art telephone, I feel, or like putting something through Google Translate and then back again. For this experiment, I have chosen Kassian and Robin. I had originally considered doing 4 at once, but then I considered the workload and overall time and I had to do and said, no thanks, I'm good. So right now, Kassian is up because I feel like he's one of the easier ones to replicate because his style, when converted into modern fashion, is simple and his hair is simple, and I don't have to jump through massive hurdles to find content that'll make him look like Kassian. That being said, it is a nightmare to find hair that fits him. You'd think that a simple bob wouldn't be such a hassle to work with, but more than anything, it's the color that I have to watch out for. The Sims 4 doesn't really have like the flexibility with colors that like with swatches, like how Sims 3 had like the entire like palette you could work with. So I didn't really have a way to get his like ashy blonde hair to work. I went with the whitish. Whitish? It's pretty white, yeah. It's whitish, but with hints of blonde in it, so it kind of still works. It works better than like the bright blonde, like the really yellow blonde. It should be said that I don't use a ton of custom content here either. Aside from the facial stuff, like eyebrows or like makeup touches to make like the sim look a little more how I wanted it, I really only use like a handful of items that aren't from the game itself. Oh my gosh. That's my dog. Please be quiet, dog. Please be quiet, dog. I think it makes it a little more challenging that way. So he's definitely not the best Kassian I've created, but I think I've gotten something that's still pretty close. I had to get creative with some things, like Kassian in his personal canon does not wear any makeup, but I didn't really have anything that made his face look a little more gaunt, so I don't think The Sims 4 has a dark under eye circles option, at least in the packs that I currently have, so I used eyeliner and eyeshadow to get that effect. I also went through the trouble of creating all his other outfits for some reason. I rather like them, and I like the little undercut bun I found. I haven't drawn it a lot, but Kassian does wear his hair up a lot. It works particularly well with his workout gear outfit I put in this, which is an outfit I liked creating a lot. I even added a bit of blush to his cheeks because since he's so pale, I imagined he flushes quite easily, even with like the bare minimum amount of exercise. Okay, now for the drawing bit. I'll be honest, as much fun as this was to do, it was also a little nightmare because somewhere I end up deciding that I wanted to render most of this after a long time without rendering anything for at least a couple weeks. Why did I do that? I focus a lot on the face area, and that's why the hands and the outfit itself is left so unfinished. I knew this was going to be just a doodle, so I think I should have just stuck with the like at least sketchy line work and then coloring underneath. But we're in it now, so overall, I think it looks okay. I kind of want to redo this with everyone, at least like the main cast of characters I have, the Spiral universe, but at some point, but. For something that just came out of spontaneity and a little bit of boredom, I think it's a-okay. I may have took some liberties, but it's still Kassian, and it's just Kassian with wider, longer hair and an art majoring college student aesthetic who also does urban witchcraft with tea lights and salt packets from In-N-Out. Yeah, that's what this looks like. Yeah. I'll be posting more thoughts about this in the description below, so be sure to check that out if you are interested in hearing more about that. And now we will go on to Robin. Miss Robin. I don't think I've talked about Robin on this channel ever before. I think I might have mentioned her in Samos's Meet the OCs video like once, but she's also changed visually a lot since then. Aside from her growing like a full foot taller with a darker, more charcoal gray looking skin tone, I've been kind of thinking about her a lot more since then, and her lore in general. I feel like she's the only part of the main cast I don't talk about enough, and that's not because I dislike her or anything, not at all. It's more of a difficulty expressing who she is at this present moment. I trace back a lot of character qualities from my OCs back to my own feelings and experiences, and while Robin shares a lot of that, she's also a very different person from me. And that's a whole nother can of worms I can't open right now on a Sims related video, but she's an absolute joy to write personal lore for, and just as much fun to draw and create in character creations. The gray tone I choose here is almost perfect, if not slightly just a bit lighter than I currently go for her now. I did a poll a little bit back on what her new skin tone should be, because I thought it would be neater if she had like something that made her look a little more magical, like a pink or like a blue mermaidish looking skin tone. And people settled on this dark gray, kind of dark elf kind of look. But blue was kind of really close in second place. So I used one of my like little shimmer highlighter custom content things to add a little bit of a blue pinkish tint, just to bring that fairiness out, despite this being a modern take. That's partly kind of the reason why I chose to do her and Kassian for this video. On one hand, he's very pale but has a dark gray and black kind of wardrobe, while she has a charcoal dark elf kind of look to her skin, and she wears a lot of white and silver. So I thought that would be like a kind of a neat contrast. They both kind of exude a feeling of gothness, but on his end it's kind of more like a casual way, while she's a little bit more elegant, I suppose, with her look. I still try to keep a modern look to her since this was The Sims. I'd rather do an outfit that kind of fits more of her personality than try to match what she has in her canon. I go through this one princely looking outfit a couple times, but that kind of matches what she wears in this fantasy setting she's usually in, but it just didn't really fit this rendition of her as a Sim. And really half the fun of this was just kind of like, half the fun of always making my OCs in The Sims is trying to figure out how they dress in a modern setting, because you have to kind of make up what they'd be into, what kind of trends they'd be into, if it's like already in like a fantasy setting where certain style types don't exist. So this was another fun exercise. Now, since I already did Kassian, I felt a little more confident the second time around with Robin. I had a lot of fun trying to replicate the colors on her face from her sim, and honestly, I like adding little subtle hints of other colors in there in all the gray. The blue and pink really kind of made like her face glow a little bit, and it had like this really magical effect that I really liked. I was listening to an old three-way stream between Jenna Drawing, Zoe Mariner, and I, and oh my god, I had a smile on my face the entire time I was drawing this piece because I was listening to that. I think there's a lot of random pauses in this one too, so my apologies if you run into this and into those. I got super distracted in the middle of this one, so yeah. I think that's it for this video. Yeah. So thank you for sticking around and tuning in. If you made it this far. I know I've been doing some really different things lately, so it's nice. I really appreciate it if you watched all this or listened to all of it. I have some stuff in the description if y'all want to take a read on that. I answered a couple questions there because I've been getting a couple comments in some other videos that I like to address in a more current fashion. So thank you so much, and I will see you all a little later, hopefully soon. And that's it.